Now at 5 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, a confession from a child in Gonzales County shocks investigators. Today, one family forgives that child. And a second victim has died after a stolen 18-wheeler crashed into a DPS office in Brenham. The suspect faces more charges in the fatal crash. And a man arrested in Victoria over the weekend is facing multiple charges.
Fairly nice day, but late this afternoon we actually popped a couple of little showers rolling around the area. We'll be talking about that and what to expect for the rest of the work week. All that coming up in a moment.
We have the latest details from former President Donald Trump's historic criminal trial as day one concludes. You're watching 25 News Now at 5. Good afternoon and thanks for being with us. I'm Karina Garcia. The Texas Rangers are investigating the death of an inmate at the DeWitt County Jail. The inmate was found around 4:25 a.m. last Sunday. That's 34-year-old Milton Wilson Kaiser III was found unresponsive and pronounced dead by the Justice of the Peace Precinct 1. Kaiser was from Yoakum. Authorities arrested him April 12th, just before 9 p.m. on charges of family violence causing bodily injury. An autopsy is underway. Now, a 27-year-old suspect was arrested by Victoria Police Friday. John Martinez of Victoria is charged with continuous sex abuse of a child under the age of 14. Martinez is in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of a $100,000 bond. And Victoria Police arrested a 43-year-old suspect on 5 charges Sunday. Jermaine Kaufman is charged with aggravated robbery and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Kaufman is in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of a $96,000 bond. A second person has died after a stolen semi-trailer crashed into a DPS office on April 12th. Today, authorities identified the victim as 63-year-old Cheryl Turner of Brenham, where the crash took place. One other person was killed and 12 others were hurt. The suspect, Leonard Parker, stole an 18-wheeler and crashed it into the DMV office around 10:30 Friday morning. Parker is facing 3 charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, 1 charge of unauthorized use of a vehicle, and 1 charge of evading arrest. He could also be charged with murder. Now on Friday, a 10-year-old boy confessed to the murder of a man 2 years ago in Gonzales County, just outside San Antonio. The father of the man killed forgives the child.
This isn't anywhere the suspect that we thought it was.
And why would Kenneth Raspberry suspect a 10-year-old kid killed his son? Investigators in Gonzales County say the boy didn't know Brandon Raspberry either. The 32-year-old was found dead at the Lazy JRV Park in Nixon back on January 18, 2022. Investigators say at the time, the boy had been staying with his grandfather who lived in that RV park. They say the boy told them he grabbed a 9mm gun out of his grandfather's truck, went into Raspberry's RV, saw him sleeping, and shot him in the head. The boy also told investigators he had only seen Raspberry walking around the RV park earlier that day. Today, Kenneth has so many questions.
This is a little boy. For reasons that I'm sure these counselors and case managers and all of that's going to pick that poor little boy's brain apart.
Despite dealing with the agony of losing his son in such a horrible way, Kenneth says he also feels sorry for the boy and hopes he gets help.
He needs to be prayed on. He needs to be comforted and let him know he's forgiven and he can still be saved. He's so young. He's definitely tormented by something.
We don't know the boy's identity because he's so young. Investigators connected him to Raspberry's death while they were investigating another recent case where the same boy was accused of threatening to assault and kill another student on a bus from the Nixon Smiley ISD. When leaders from the district spoke with the child, they say he made a comment about shooting and killing a man 2 years ago.
A fire was reported this morning at the Dollar General located at 250 East Pearl Street in Goliad. The alarm was sounded at 1:49 a.m. The fire was put out in under 10 minutes, but fire damage was contained to the store with smoke damage throughout the store. 6 fire departments responded to the fire. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. And now let's take a look at your forecast with Chief Meteorologist Mac Bettis.
Thank you, Karina. Good afternoon, everyone. A couple of little showers actually popped up. You can see them right there. They're all moving to the east, so actually southeast, as you see right about there. So here's Victoria. You may see some clouds rolling through. They're moving fairly quickly. This is triggered by heating and, of course, leftover moisture from the weekend. Shouldn't be a huge problem. It'll fall apart once the sun goes down. Next couple of days look okay. In fact, they look pretty good. In fact, by this weekend, it may feel like summertime. We'll have more on your weather coming up in just a moment.
Mac, thank you. Today concludes day one of the historic criminal trial of Donald Trump. Both the prosecution and defense gave their opening statements, and one witness testified before court broke early for the day.
A historic day in a Lower Manhattan courtroom with opening statements in the hush money trial of former President Donald Trump. Prosecutors saying this case is about criminal conspiracy, accusing Trump of arranging a $130,000 payment to adult film actress Stormy Daniels to keep her from revealing their alleged affair right before the 2016 presidential election.
They don't have to technically prove a criminal conspiracy. He is not being charged with anything in that sense, but the criminal conspiracy lends itself towards the falsification of documents as well as the underlying crimes.
Trump shaking his head no while listening to the prosecution tell jurors that he schemed with his former fixer Michael Cohen and former National Enquirer publisher David Pecker to influence the general election by concealing negative information about him. Trump passing notes and whispering to his attorneys at times. Trump's defense attorney telling the jury, "I have a spoiler alert. There is nothing wrong with trying to influence an election. It's called democracy." The defense arguing Trump relied on lawyers to arrange that payment. Trump has long denied the affair and any wrongdoing. He's pleaded not guilty to the charges.
It's a case as to bookkeeping. You pay a lawyer, he's a lawyer, and they call it a legal expense. That's the exact term they use, legal expense.
Prosecutors calling Pecker as their first witness. He once called Trump a personal friend, flashing a smile as he took the stand. Prosecutors accusing him of acting as a co-conspirator in helping buy and bury damaging stories about Trump. Pecker testified that he had final say whether to publish any story involving celebrities.
Court is back in session on Tuesday, and Pecker will be back on the stand. But first, the judge plans to hold a contempt hearing on Trump's alleged violations of the limited gag order in this case. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
An appeals court upheld a state's court judge ruling tossing out an attorney discipline petition against Sidney Powell for her involvement in Donald Trump's election reversal efforts. The appeals court ruled the Texas bar failed to show how she engaged in dishonesty, fraud, deceit, or misrepresentation in lawsuits she filed challenging Trump's loss. So far, she has defeated allegations brought against several others who helped Trump in his schemes to overturn his 2020 election loss. But she did plead guilty in the criminal prosecution brought by the Fulton County District Attorney for the election subversion plots in Georgia. Early voting for the May 4th election is underway at the Dr. Patty Dotson Public Health Center, 2805 North Navarro, Classroom A. Early voting hours this week are 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The polls open next Monday and Tuesday, April 29th and 30th, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And residents will vote in the Board of Trustee race for District 2 in the Victoria ISD. On the ballot is incumbent Bridget Marshall. In July of 2023, she was appointed District 2 trustee. Marshall is the Victoria College Department Chair of Humanities and English instructor. She says she plans to use her 20 years of education for this role. Now, Marshall faces Andrew Rokovich. He's a project manager. Rokovich once served as president of the Victoria Young Republicans. In March, he was under fire for a social media post that many deemed anti-Semitic. Rokovich apologized and says that post was poorly thought out. Rokovich wants to ensure inclusivity and representation for all in the community. And voters will vote for 1, 2, or 3 of the candidates for Board of Directors in the Victoria County Drainage District. On that ballot is Justin Leticia, Ryan Pelcher, Candy Markle Beck, and Wayne Leticia. And also in the race for District 3 City Council in Victoria, we have April Butler running against Woodrow Wilson Wagner II. Butler is a local business owner. One of the issues she wants to address is retaining first responders. Butler says she has a plan to increase pay for first responders without raising taxes. And Butler faces Woodrow Wilson Wagner II in that District 3 race. He says he has a track record of advocacy and desire to give back to his hometown. Wilson Wagner's primary focus, if elected, is to give first responders better pay to prevent them from leaving Victoria. Wagner says his experience in government will help him find solutions for the city. And voters will vote for one or two candidates for board of directors in the Victoria County Water Control and Improvement District 1. On the ballot is Robert Cardenas, Devin Wallace, and Robert Montalvo. And now the Victoria Central Appraisal District is hosting a property tax community outreach session tomorrow. That's Tuesday. It starts at 6 p.m. at the Dr. Patty Dotson Public Health Center, 2805 North Navarro Street. They will discuss topics like how the district appraises value, how to file for an exemption, the different types of exemptions, and how to qualify for ag and wildlife exemptions. They will also help you understand the protest process. So here is your beer poll this afternoon. You can scan that QR code right there on your screen to vote. The question is, did your property tax appraisal go up by 25%, 40%, 75%, or 100%? We want to hear from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. And Bob Brubaker is going to have an update on 25 News Now at 6. Parts of Crestwood Drive will be closed Wednesday morning. Crestwood will close between Navarro and Main Streets for paving operations from 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. All businesses and homes in the construction zone will remain accessible. The construction is part of the Crestwood Drive Phase 3 reconstruction project. Now remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click that notification bell. For now, stay with us. Pro-Palestinian demonstrations continue among U.S. college campuses. That's straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5. Also ahead, 2 federal agencies have teamed up to create a heat and health plan to protect Americans from heat exposure. In-person classes at Columbia have been canceled and multiple arrests were made at Yale University as pro-Palestine protests continue to grow on U.S. college campuses. Authorities in Connecticut say about 45 protesters were arrested at Yale this morning and charged with misdemeanor trespassing. After arrest at Columbia, pro-Palestinian demonstrators set up encampments on other campuses around the country, including at the University of Michigan, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and the University of North Carolina. The CDC has launched a new heat and health initiative to protect those from heat exposure. The new plan includes a 7-day nationwide heat forecast that will announce when temperatures could reach harmful levels, information on local air quality, and new guidance to help those at risk from high temperatures. They partnered with the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration to create this new plan. Now over in health news, today is Earth Day, a time to focus on ways to preserve and protect our planet. But there are also things you can do that not only supports the planet health, but can also support your health as well.
Planet health and human health, the two go hand in hand.
The choices that we make in life every day affect not only us, affect everyone around us, and affect our planet.
Dr. Sophia Asfal with Cleveland Clinic says there are some healthy habits that can help both. By biking, walking, or running, you can get exercise and get to where you're going without relying on a vehicle, reducing emissions into the air. And a plant-based diet is not only good for your body, but also the earth.
In order to produce meat-based meals, there's a lot that goes into it. There's chemicals that we have to use to raise the cattle or whatever meat-based product that you have, that then in turn pollutes the environment, and that can also lead to negative effects on human health.
Asphalt says when you're staying healthy by washing hands or brushing teeth, don't waste water. Turn it off when you're not scrubbing. She says you can also reduce energy expenditures and the amount of greenhouse gases that can impact the climate and therefore our health by turning off lights, unplugging household items when not in use, buying recycled goods, and setting your thermostat to eco mode if you have it.
If we take care of our planet will take care of us.
For Health Minute, I'm Andy Gaither.
Mental health experts say the state is struggling to diversify its mental health workforce as Texas becomes less white. You can read this Texas Tribune article on our website, crossroadstoday.com. And now let's toss it over to Mac.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. A couple of little surprise showers showed up this afternoon. You might have seen the clouds roll through the area. Our temperature is 71 degrees. Not bad at all. A little chilly this morning, I would think some of you might have said. But, you know, I hope you enjoyed it, because once this moves around and we start moving into May 1st, which is around the corner, we're going to start seeing temperatures well into the 80s. 74 was our high today. That's very nice, because that's a solid 8 degrees below our seasonal average. So it was a beautiful day, and of course Sunday was great as well. Did get a little rain over the weekend, but let's talk about the rest of the week. All that coming up in just a moment. Well, good afternoon, everybody. A little surprise shower late this afternoon might have gotten you. I don't know. Here's the city. You can see how it sort of drifted through very quickly. Basically, leftover moisture that went south with the front over the weekend just basically streamed north, as now our northerly winds have ended and the south wind is beginning to kick in. Looks like down in Calhoun County, they got the best little shower activity today. Like I said, rain is good. We need the rain. We just don't need the severe weather. So when we can get the rain without the severe weather, we're in great shape. Rest of the state had a beautiful day out there, lots of sunshine and fairly mild weather for this time of year. And I keep stressing that because real soon, in fact, the end of this week, we'll start moving into the upper 80s and near 90 degrees. So there's the little stuff that's moving offshore tonight. No major problems. If you catch a little raindrop, well, that'll be good. These are lasting maybe 20, 30 minutes, and that's about it. We take a look at your temperatures over the next 4 or 5 days, and you can see how tomorrow we'll get up to 79. That's really nice in the 70s, but then we start warming up. As a matter of fact, by the weekend, we start pushing the 88 to 89 degree temperature mark. And of course, remember, that's the temperature. What about the humidity? How does that factor in? Well, for us, it won't be too bad, but for western areas, and I'm talking, you know, Nixon, Three Rivers, all that west of us are going to be dealing with some heat index, believe it or not. So you're going to be hearing about this for a while now that it's about to turn. So here's tomorrow. You can see the little pocket of cooler weather here left over from that stuff that came in on Saturday night and into Sunday, while western areas are going to start warming up, and they're going to warm up big time by the time we get to the end of this week. So you'll see how the winds have turned around, and as we go from your Monday to your Tuesday, you're going to see more and more of that morning cloud cover, more and more partly cloudy, and then we start picking up just enough moisture to see a few little isolated showers. These are fairly light, nothing severe out of this, no major problems, but you know, that's about what we get for the rest of the week. Well, frontal system way up here, not going to be much of a factor as far as we're concerned. That second one may have a little bit to do with us, but not for about 5 days. As a matter of fact, we're going to go all the way to about Friday before it starts picking up a little bit of chance for us of getting some precipitation. So it says isolated thunderstorms. I really don't think we're going to have a problem tomorrow. We're looking at a high of about 79, 80 degrees. In Cuero, isolated thunder showers. I'm not believing it, but we're looking at about 77 to 78 in internal or western areas. We are looking at a slow moving warm up. You can see right about there, the weekend. Okay, 87, 88. By the time we get to Sunday and Monday, then we do start picking up a chance from some isolated showers because we'll have the humidity and then we'll have the heating as well. That is your 7-day forecast. Reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that. Put Crossroads the Day on your phone. We'll toss it back to Karina.
Thank you, Mac. Coming up next on 25 News Now 5, we're going to take a look at your stocks. Plus, TikTok vows to legally fight a potential U.S. ban of its app. Taking a look at your stocks, the Dow up 254 points, the S&P 500 up 43 points, and the Nasdaq up 169 points. Oil down 29 cents, closing at $82.85 per barrel. TikTok is vowing to challenge a potential U.S. ban of its app. Saturday, the House passed a foreign aid package that calls for TikTok's Chinese parent, ByteDance, to sell it within 270 days or risk being banned nationwide. The company says it is planning to file a court challenge if the bill is signed into law. TikTok has publicly opposed the bill, saying it infringes on its users' First Amendment rights. Supporters argue the law is necessary to protect American security and personal data. President Joe Biden travels to Triangle, Virginia today to mark Earth Day. He revealed a $7 billion in grant funding for solar power under the Inflation Reduction Act and announced new efforts to get federal jobs for graduates of the American Climate Corps, a training program popular with youth climate groups. Biden spoke from Virginia's Prince William Forest Park. That site was developed by President Franklin Roosevelt's Civilian Conservation Corps, on which the American Climate Corps is modeled after. And stay with us. We're going to take one last look at your forecast with Mac when we come back. Plus, Warriors Weekend is returning to the Crossroads a little later than usual this year. Plus, here's a look at world news tonight, right after 25 News Now at 5.
Coming up tonight, breaking news, the criminal trial of Donald Trump, the first witness, and now what comes first thing tomorrow morning. In New York City, the near disaster at JFK Airport, 5 planes involved, and the break-in at the home of LA's mayor. She was home, hiding in a safe room. We're next.
Warriors Weekend returns to the Crossroads later than usual this year. Warriors Weekend will be held this year on October 10th and 11th. It is usually held in May near Memorial Day, but organizers tell us heat affected the 300 military veterans that attended last year's event. This will be the 18th Warriors Weekend, and the veterans come into Victoria in a caravan on Friday, and then they have a full day of fun at fishing on Saturday at Port O'Connor. So. Sounds like a
They're absolutely right. I mean, August is just getting too hot for anything to do outdoors. You know, especially you're talking.
Sticks on you.
Absolutely, and especially elderly guys. You can't take the heat and the breathing, and so I think October is a great time of the year.
Yeah, you get that fall Texas breeze.
Fall is about 2 weeks long here. That's about all we get. Well, folks, the next couple of days look pretty good to me. I don't believe we're going to get any additional showers. This is stuff that's rolling through the area right about now. It's not anything heavy, so you might get a sprinkle on your windshield as it moves through. But as we get into the rest of the week, we're going to warm up to 78 tomorrow, and then 82, and then 86. And by Saturday, we're looking for 88 degrees. So it's going to be feeling very summer-like by the time we get to the weekend.
Yeah. Mac, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
When are we going to start feeling that, that summer heat? Do we still have time?
I think this weekend.
You were going to hit the hundreds?
No hundreds, but we're going to be in the upper 80s, 88, 89.
But that's nice.
And of course, with the humidity factor, it starts feel more sticky. I think we're going to feel that by this weekend. So it's going to turn the corner real fast, and we're going to have to just deal with it all summer long.
We'll be ready. Thank you, Mac. And thank you for being with us. We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 6.